A very good morning, just past 8 by the clock. A firm first belief to this particular week, Monday morning here. We are back again with another edition of Breakfast News. Over the next 60 minutes, this is your one-stop show when it comes to news that matters, that connects India and the rest of the world. I am Anil Thomas, and to take you through to the next 60 minutes is my co-anchor Rukma Datta. Good morning, Rukma.
A very good morning, Anil, and to all our viewers as well. And over the next 1 hour, we'll be taking you through all the top stories that are making headlines at this hour, as the Prime Minister is all set to launch the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission. Later in the day, there's also news about Cyclone Gulab as it weakens into a deep depression, but still there's an alert for Odisha and Andhra Pradesh. Also news from sports, business across the world and much more. But first, here are the headlines.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi to launch nationwide Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission today, a seamless online platform that will enable interoperability within the digital health ecosystem, presently being implemented in pilot phase in 6 union territories.
PM Modi visits construction site of the new Parliament building in New Delhi, spends almost an hour doing first-hand inspection of construction status of Central Vista.
Cyclonic storm Gulab over North Andhra Pradesh and adjoining South Odisha weakened into a deep depression early morning today over Andhra Pradesh, likely to continue to move west-northwestwards and weaken further into a depression during the next 6 hours. Prime Minister discusses Cyclone Gulab situation with Chief Ministers of Andhra Pradesh and Odisha and assures all possible help.
Ministry of Tourism to launch Nidhi 2 and India Tourism Statistics at a Glance 2021 in World Tourism Day celebration event today. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla and Union Tourism Minister Kishan Reddy to grace the occasion.
Union Sports Minister Anurag Thakur lays the foundation stone of ZPEO playfield, inaugurates PM SGY road, says Union government is committed to further strengthening the existing sports infrastructure and facilities for the Union territory so that more and more youth join sports and represent J&K at various levels.
In international news, Germany's Social Democrats narrowly win national elections as per projected results and claim clear mandate to lead a government for the first time since 2005 to end 16 years of conservative-led rule under Angela Merkel.
And in sports, Indo-Chinese pair of Sonia Mirza and Zhang Shui back the WTA Open doubles title. Second-seeded Indo-Chinese duo defeat the third-seeded pair of American Christian and New Zealander Routcliffe 6-3, 6-2 in the final. Well, those were the headlines at the top of this hour. Now for the stories in detail, starting first up with the Prime Minister's event this morning.
Well, in a historic initiative, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will launch the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission today at 11 a.m. via video conferencing. Prime Minister Modi will also address on the occasion. Union Health Minister will be present. Prime Minister has said that the mission leverages technology to improve access to healthcare and opens doors for new innovation in the sector. He said, today is an important day for the country's healthcare sector. The pilot project of Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission was announced by the Prime Minister from the ramparts of Red Fort on the 15th of August 2020. Currently, Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission is being implemented in pilot phase in 6 union territories. The nationwide rollout of Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission coincides with NHA celebrating the 3rd anniversary of Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. The key components of Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission include a health ID for every citizen, that will also work as their health account, to which personal health records can be linked and viewed with the help of a mobile application. This mission will create interoperability within the digital health ecosystem, similar to the role played by the Unified Payments Interface in revolutionizing payments. Citizens will only be a click away from accessing healthcare facilities. And joining us now is our correspondent Abhishek Jha to tell us more. Abhishek, historic initiative to be launched by the Prime Minister today. It's already in pilot phase in 6 union territories. Take us through the important points to be noted about the new launch.
So, Rukma, this whole mission of getting Ayushman Bharat more digitized is the aim of this whole project that Prime Minister will launch today. With this digitization, we know that Ayushman Bharat, since its inception, has been one of the key project and dream project of this government, where those have been able to achieve the best and national level healthcare across the country, not only from the government hospitals but in private hospitals also, for which government has been paying. We know other ailments like dialysis and cancer and many more other severe surgical operations are also involved in this Ayushman Bharat scheme, where poor have benefited a lot. So in the last 3 years, this scheme has been almost rolled out across the nation, and now this digitization or digital this project with the digital ID card is also being rolled out. 6 union territory, as we said, has been tested in the pilot program of this whole project, and one can assume with the success of this pilot project, this whole digital Ayushman Bharat can be rolled out across the nation very soon.
Okay, Abhishek, when one looks at this particular program, does it give you, is the government looking at a similar success story with what happened with UPI when it comes to, this digital mission?
Of course, Anil, we know that with the digital technology or anything that is new in terms of technology, not very widespread, there are always apprehension. But in the past, we have seen various governments which have been linked with digital missions, be it bank accounts or UPI or the payment modules. They have actually shown not only success but also a lot of efficiency and check on the leakage of the profit or the intended profit that the government sends money to a certain person or certain point, and the in-between leakages have been very much under control with the digital rollouts of various schemes. In this scheme also, there is a unique way of saving one's medical history that will not only give government, in a way government would have more policy making. This whole thing will help government in making a policy shift or policy decisions, where it will be able to understand what are the ailments, what are the diseases, which is more to be stressed, which needs a lot more attention, and the healthcare sector or health infrastructure needs to be well prepared for those in advance. So that is something that will be benefited with this scheme.
Okay, Abhishek, also put this, clearly spell it out clearly for our audience. Does it just stick to modern medicines, or does it also include, when this particular digital mission comes into play, does it also include the traditional forms of medicine?
Of course, Anil, the government has not been discriminating on where does a person wants to get it treated. So if somebody wants to treat it in some government Ayurvedic, center or homeopathy center, we know that the government's Ayush Ministry, which is a combined nodal agency for all these traditional medicine, and there is always allopathic medicine, which is also well taken care by the health ministry. But then this Ayushman card or the digital way of this Ayushman card is actually going to take care of all sorts of medical care that a person wants to get through the various of government.
Right, Abhishek. So clearly this will change the entire way in which we as citizens of India access health care. it will however, much of the information will be in the public domain as well. What are the assurances that are being given? Also, in terms of database, will all doctors be included? What are the details, if there are any, that have emerged of how it will work?
So, Rukma, this Ayushman Bharat in itself is the world's most largest and ambitious project of providing healthcare facilities to the people of the country, where people they don't have to pay, but the government takes care of the resources and the charges that a person needs to pay in private hospitals if the healthcare is not available in the government hospitals already. Also, with this the data thing that you have mentioned, government is going to keep all the data of a person who is availing this facility, and this record will actually make them more able to ensure a policy decision as to how and where money needs to be pumped in, which are the sectors, which are the areas or the pockets in the country where certain type of problems or diseases are actually emerging time and again, or if a person has been regularly having certain type of medical record, what sort of best healthcare facility can be provided to him at which corner of the country. Also, this data, there has a lot of apprehension as to why will this data be public, but then you know that a medical history of a person is very personal and it's not going to be available to anyone in the public domain. So one has to be assured about the leakage of data, because government is going to take care of the security or the secrecy of one's medical history. Of course, we'll be able to have lot more information as to where are the best of the doctors, where are the best of medical facilities for a particular type of problem to a particular person. So this whole data centralization, or in a way availability to each person of the country in every part of the country is actually going to help them take a very well-informed decision as to where should they get themselves treated in a best possible manner.
Also when it comes to, this particular scheme that's rolled into play, if you look at, is there a model that is being referred to, especially when it comes to these kind of schemes that roll out? We've got a very similar scheme in the United Kingdom that's called the NHS that failed pretty badly. So are there some lessons that have been learned and lessons that have been, put in place so that, those mistakes made by the NHS can be rectified in this particular scheme?
Of course, I mean, we know that with the Ayushman Bharat, there has been a lot of success, because in a country as diverse as India, where the medical infrastructure has not been as far as when we talk about USA or other European countries. But still, this Ayushman Bharat has been able to provide a lot better healthcare facility to all those people who did not have enough money, resources, or reach to best of the healthcare facility. So going by the record, one can assume, and also the digital mission, that various government schemes have been able to provide government benefits to the people on various digital platforms. One can assume that with the 6 pilot projects, government will have enough of experience, and also taking into account the failures of other major states or major schemes worldwide. We will have very well-designed, foolproof schemes where people will not only have the best healthcare facility available to them, but also they will be they can be assured of their data being well preserved and secret and not being leaked in the public domain.
Okay, right. There will be according to the information we have, every person will get a health ID. Every citizen will get a health ID that will also work as their health account. How will this happen? Do we voluntarily go and submit our names, or and is this health ID, how separate is it from our Aadhaar ID? Could you explain a bit more about this?
So we'll have to get these, personal health ID card if we want to avail these facilities. And then, of course, this healthcare ID will be linked with our personal information, so that when we avail certain health benefits, certain benefits from the government, those things will be kept in record for a long period of time. And when government or the doctor will need to take a look at what has been the past record of our health problems, it will be easily available for them, for the doctors, to check the past history of the patient, so that they can also judge and they can scrutinize the problem very well, and they can then decide for the treatment. So any person who is going to avail this Ayushman Bharat can get this health ID. In fact, they will have to get this health ID in the future for sure. And their whole medical record will be linked to this, and government is going to provide this health care ID.
Okay, Abhishek, just taking Rukma's question forward, when one purely looks at this particular, the number of cards that are going to increase in our pocket, you got an Aadhaar card, you got a PAN card, now you got a health card that comes into play. Is there a process in which, this particular health card can be linked to your Aadhaar card? And there are rights that have been given. So in case you want to just look at your Aadhaar card, the main details, there are rights that have been created like credit companies have, and maybe we look at, lessening the burden. And my second part of the question, how much would the health expenditure increase if this particular thing is rolled out?
So, I think we know that for currently the Ayushman card is mostly linked with the Aadhaar card.
Okay.
So there is no question of linking new Aadhaar card with the Ayushman existing Aadhaar card. So to get this benefits, beneficiary have to provide Aadhaar card. So with the new digital card also, is that thing that wherever we go with each doctor who is going to give us treatment through the system of this Ayushman, digital Ayushman card, they will have access to all the information, all the past record of ours.
Okay.
That is the key aim of this project, that Aadhaar card is obviously, that Ayushman card is going to be the identity of the patient, but the digital Ayushman card will have the history, medical history of that person also available on a click to the doctor, so that he can, judge in a better way what should be the way to provide the treatment to a person, seeing the past record of his ailment or his problems.
Right, clearly in that the Aadhaar, the health ID, according to Ayushman Digital Yojana, it does lessen the burden
True.
on the patient, because most hospitals, despite having all the data of the patients, it's always the patients who have to supply every detail at every moment. Well, Abhishek, we'll have to leave it at that for now, but we'll be back with you throughout the day for more. Stay tuned on that story. Many thanks for joining us.
Well, time for us to slip into a short breather here. On the other side, news continues. You stay tuned to DD India.
Change not just of attitudes, but of mindset. Change from a state of drift to one of purposeful actions. Change to take bold decisions. A mandate in which reform would not be enough unless it transforms our economy and society. A transformation that is embedded in the aspirations and optimism of India's youth and in the boundless energy of its millions. Every day at work, I draw on this sacred energy. Every day at work, my to-do list is guided by the constant drive to reform and transform India for prosperity and security of all Indians.
As the day unfolds and news and events take shape, we get you complete coverage of every news breaking in, tracking new developments as they happen. Midday Prime English, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching Breakfast News here on DD India.
Well, staying with the Prime Minister, Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited the construction site of the new Parliament building on Sunday evening. Prime Minister Modi spent almost an hour at the site and did a first-hand inspection of the construction status of the new Parliament building. He also spoke to people involved in the construction. On February 4th this year, the Bhumi Pujan ceremony of Central Vista Avenue was performed by the then Union Minister of State with independent charge, Hardeep Singh Puri, and other senior officials of the ministry at India Gate in New Delhi. With this ceremony, the work started for the redevelopment of Central Vista Avenue. The redevelopment project of Central Vista envisages a new triangular Parliament building, a common central secretariat, and revamping of the 3-kilometer-long Rajpath from Rashtrapati Bhavan to India Gate.
The Ministry of Tourism will today launch Nidhi 2.0, National Integrated Database of Hospitality Industry and India Tourism Statistics at a Glance 2021 today. The launch will take place at an event to celebrate World Tourism Day 2021 in New Delhi. The day has been designated by the UNWTO as a day to focus on tourism for inclusive growth. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla will be chief guest. Union Minister of Tourism, Culture and Donor G. Kishan Reddy, MOS for Tourism Ajay Bhatt and MOS for Tourism Shripad Yesunayak will also grace the occasion. An MOU will also be signed between the Tourism Ministry, United Nations Environment Programme and the Responsible Tourism Society of India to actively promote and support sustainability initiatives in the tourism sector. India is in unlocking phase and domestic tourism has restarted slowly and steadily. The COVID-19 pandemic has had an immense socio-economic impact worldwide, and gradual increase in domestic tourism will help for recovery and growth in many folds of society.
The Union Government will launch a month-long nationwide Clean India drive to clean waste, mainly single-use plastic, from the 1st of October to the 31st of October this year. Union Youth Affairs and Sports Minister Anurag Thakur said that it is the government's resolve to create a plastic-free India, an India of Gandhiji's dreams, and as per the vision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in which Swachhata occupies topmost priority. The minister has urged everybody to join the drive with fervour and help achieve the goal of Sankalp Se Siddhi. He said it will be the largest cleanliness drive of the world, in which more than 75 lakh tons of waste, primarily plastic waste from different parts of the country, will be collected and further processed in a waste to wealth model. He added that the drive aims to propagate the mantra of Clean India, Safe India.
आजादी के अमृत उत्सव वर्ष में संपूर्ण देश उन महान सपूतों को याद कर रहा है जिनके त्याग एवं बलिदान से देश को आजादी मिली। कि आजादी के 75 वर्ष में हम सब मिलकर एवं आपसी सहयोग से देश को प्लास्टिक कूड़े से आजादी नहीं दिला सकते। अब समय आ गया है गांधी जी के सपनों का भारत तथा यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी का संकल्प, जिसमें स्वच्छता एवं सफाई को सर्वोपरि रखा गया है, उसे हम यथार्थ में परिवर्तित करें। आइए आपसी सहयोग से एवं संकल्प से सिद्धि के मूल मंत्र के द्वारा 1 अक्टूबर से 31 अक्टूबर तक चलने वाले स्वच्छ भारत कार्यक्रम को सफल बनाएं।
And the Union Information and Broadcasting Minister also inspected a 13.5-kilometer long Zojila tunnel yesterday. Speaking on the occasion, he said this all-weather tunnel has a strategic importance, that's great, and will also boost tourism. He said the focus of the Modi government has always been on strengthening road network in border areas. The 13.5-kilometer long tunnel will play an important role in joining Srinagar, Kargil and Leh. The National Highway Authority of India, the government of India, are rapidly working on its construction. It is a work in progress. He also said that nearly 4,500 crore rupees will be spent on the project.
श्रीनगर से कारगिल और लेह को जोड़ने के लिए जोजिला टनल का बहुत महत्व है। राष्ट्र हित में, राष्ट्र सुरक्षा के लिए और 12 महीने इस क्षेत्र को जोड़ने के लिए बहुत महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाएगा। 4,500 करोड़ रुपए की लगभग इसके ऊपर लागत आएगी। 13.5 किलोमीटर लगभग ये लंबी सुरंग होगी और मुझे प्रसन्नता है, इस पर काम तेजी से चल रहा है। और जैसे आज भी एक और ब्लास्ट किया गया इसके निर्माण के लिए, ये प्रयास किए जा रहे हैं कि जल्द से जल्द इसको पूरा किया जाए सारा साल, ताकि यहाँ से टूरिस्ट भी जा सके, सेना की मूवमेंट भी हो।
Union's Sports Minister Anurag Singh Thakur laid the foundation stone of the Zonal Physical Education Office and the development of zonal level play field in Kichpora Kangan in Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Union Minister also played volleyball with the players and said the youngsters of Jammu and Kashmir have the capability to bring many laurels for the country.
जम्मू कश्मीर में खेलों के प्रति यहाँ के युवाओं की कितनी रुचि है। अवसर मिले तो ये खिलाड़ी किसी भी हद तक खेलने के लिए तैयार है और मुझे इनमें भविष्य के ऐसे खिलाड़ी नजर आते हैं जो देश के लिए मेडल जीतेंगे भविष्य में। जरूरत है इनको सुविधाएं देने की। खेलों को लेकर जो जम्मू कश्मीर के युवाओं के बीच में रुचि है वो अभूतपूर्व है, एक अलग जोश है।
India is all set to achieve the 100 crore vaccination mark. And to celebrate, the citizen engagement platform of the government, MyGov India, has invited everyone to design an innovative and visually striking logo or mascot. The logo should represent the theme, India's journey of completing 100 crore vaccinations. The last date of the contest is the 10th of October this year. The winner of the selected logo will win a cash prize of 25,000 rupees.
Himachal Pradesh schools reopens from today. The state government took the decision to reopen schools during the cabinet meeting held on Friday. Schools are reopening for classes 9 to 12. Students from classes 10th and 12th will be allowed to visit the school on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. Classes 9 to 11 will open on Thursday, Friday and Saturday.
And now an update on cyclonic storm Gulab. The cyclone has weakened into a deep depression and has settled over North Andhra Pradesh and adjoining southern Odisha. Cyclone Gulab moved westwards with a speed of 14 km per hour. It is further weakening into a deep depression in the next 6 hours. IMD has predicted light to moderate rains in most places of Odisha and Andhra Pradesh. NDRF and central teams continue with road clearing and restoration work. Relief operations are underway. On Sunday, Prime Minister Modi spoke to Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Y.S. Jagannath Reddy and Odisha Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik to discuss the cyclone situation. PM Modi assured both the CMs of all possible support from the centre. Prime Minister prayed for everyone's safety and well-being.
In Andhra Pradesh, Srikakulam District Collector Shrikesh V. Latkar said that a total of 1,358 people were rehabilitated at 38 centres in the district. The government has set up 61 rehabilitation centres in 13 cyclone-affected coastal mandals. 3 electrical poles were uprooted in the village of Kanchili Mandal and Harijana Street in Kashi Bagga, wherein the electrical department swung into action to immediately restore them. A house was damaged at the Makanapuram in Mandasa Mandal. The state disaster response team and police with support from locals cleared the trees that fell on the roads in different parts of the district. The district administration declared a holiday for schools in the cyclone-affected mandals today. In Vizag, the city was soaked following continuous rains under the influence of Cyclone Gulab on Sunday. The city registered 100 millimeters of rainfall on Sunday night under the influence of the storm. Low-lying areas in several areas like Ganapuram were submerged. People remain indoors due to heavy downpour associated with the winds reaching 10 to 15 kilometers per hour during the landfall period in neighbouring Srikakulam district. Railways have rescheduled 24 trains between Odisha and Andhra Pradesh due to the storm, while long-distance trains were short-terminated from Visakhapatnam and Bhubaneswar. Short distance trains meanwhile were cancelled till September 28th. Temporary help desks have been set up at Visakhapatnam, Vizagaram, Srikakulam Road and Rayagada stations to guide the passengers regarding the movement of train services and to meet any emergency.
And Tapas now joins us from Visakhapatnam. Tapas, a very good morning to you, but we'd like an update on how this morning, how people in Visakhapatnam have woken up to. What is this weather there like? We believe that light to moderate rains have been predicted. The cyclone, however, has weakened. Also give us a sense of the damage that it caused and the operations underway.
Right, so there are a few questions that you have asked, Rukma, and let me just start with the first fact that so far this is the only time after I landed here around 8 p.m. yesterday, and at that time it was really downpouring. It was there was incessant rain that greeted me, and since then it is the only time. It's almost 8:32 right now, and it's the only time the rain has quite literally stopped. It's slightly drizzling now, but it still stopped. So in that sense, for the last 12 hours in front of me, it was raining quite incessantly. And let me just say that in Visakhapatnam, in last let's say yesterday night, it rained almost 100mm rain, which is the highest for the city. And what our sources are saying, we still have to get it confirmation from the Met Department. We have asked for a confirmation, but we have been told that it's almost more than 300mm of rainfall activity that has taken place in the city since yesterday night. So that's another record that probably has been broken. We have to ask, get some clarification, confirmation for that. Now, in terms of the casualty, there is no casualty as far as Andhra Pradesh is concerned. We have been told that there is no casualty. They have the rescue operation has been so far been successful, and they have managed to rescue a lot of people, especially in the low-lying areas, places where the fishermen huts were there. So those people were taken to a relief center. What we have been also told is that there are more than 60 relief centers have been provided in Srikakulam, which is the main place where the landfall activity has taken place, just near that particular district. So the authorities are working overtime at that particular place. There are a lot of travel advisory has been issued because a lot of train has been disrupted. More than 24 trains have been has been affected because of this incessant rain and the wind speed. Yesterday night, the wind speed was touching almost 90 km/h, and as I said, with the combining with the high rainfall activity, it was near impossible to even stand there. But the way the authorities have worked hard, they have made sure that no untoward incidents takes place, and the whole night we saw the authorities making rounds of the different places, especially the beaches, where they make sure that nobody can go near that particular places, because it is quite risky at that particular time.
Okay, Tapash, also, Bay of Bengal is a hotbed when it comes to cyclones. And what is the reason that we see? This is the third cyclone, in the month of September in the 21st century that we see. What is it uncommon? And what do experts say about cyclones?
No, it is definitely not uncommon. In fact, Anil, just to give you a small update, as we have already mentioned, that the cyclonic circulation or cyclonic nature of this particular cyclone has dissipated. In fact, it has turned into a deep depression, and what we have been told by our sources in the IMD is that in the next half an hour, we expect that this deep depression to turn into a depression, and by afternoon this will turn into a well-marked area. Now the only problem is that this is going interior, and we expect by evening it will reach somewhere in the region of Bengal, and there will also be some rainfall activity at those particular areas. Also in the south coastal area, we expect the rain to be playing a lot of havoc. And now, as I said, that according to the information that I have received, a total of 1,358 people were rehabilitated in 38 centers in different districts, and the government has set up 61 rehabilitation center in 13 cyclonic affected areas. Now, coming back to your question of how it has affected, especially Bay of Bengal. Bay of Bengal, if you take a close look, it has been one of the hotbeds of cyclones, especially the Andhra Pradesh, Hyderabad, your coastal Andhra Pradesh, then Odisha, West Bengal. These are the places which have seen number of cyclones, and the reasoning. There are many reasoning, but the most important thing is the play out by El Nina and La Nina, that the La Nina effect that plays out, where the ocean temperatures cool down considerably, which gives rise to this cyclonic circulation, and which in turn gives birth to this cyclone. If we take a close look at Arabian Sea in comparison to Bay of Bengal, you will find that the cyclone formation is not that much, although it has seen some cyclones over the years. But in terms of if you compare it with the Bay of Bengal, we will find that the number of cyclones that takes place in a year is quite less. In fact, this is the second cyclone that has hit the Bay of Bengal, especially Odisha and the coast of Andhra Pradesh in the year. Before that, there was a cyclone Yas, and then now we have cyclone Gulab. So you can very well imagine the kind of destruction it plays out, especially in the coastal areas of Bengal, Odisha, as well as Andhra Pradesh, where these states get battered by the repeated assaults of cyclones over the years. Now, just now we have been told that there's a new IMD release that has come out, and according to that, it is now turned into a deep depression, and it is expected, as far as this IMD bulletin, it is expected that in the next few hours, this deep depression will turn into a well-marked area. It has already declared to be a deep depression.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you and appreciate you joining us this morning, giving us an insight into that Cyclone Gulab that's now turned into a deep depression and very likely in the coming hours turn into a depression there in Andhra Pradesh as well as in Odisha. Thank you, Tapas, for joining us with those updates. Well, let's now move across to poll-bound states and changes in cabinet formation or cabinet expansions taking place in the largest state of India, Uttar Pradesh.
And in Uttar Pradesh, ahead of the assembly polls in the state, the Council of Ministers headed by Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath was expanded yesterday. 7 new faces including Jitin Prasada were inducted. Governor Anandiben Patel administered oath of office and secrecy to them at Raj Bhavan, Lucknow, in the presence of Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath and several members of the cabinet. In the evening, now the UP government has 60 ministers, including 24 cabinet ministers, 9 ministers of state, independent charge, and 27 ministers of state at present. It is the second expansion of the Council of Ministers of Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath's government. The first expansion took place in August 2019. The CM Yogi-led government was formed in 2017. All groups of society, including OBC, SC and the downtrodden, have been given weightage and preference in the cabinet.
Well, every day we bring you a special story on the freedom struggle. In today's episode of Saga of Freedom Struggle, we'll remember the contributions made by the great scholar, reformer and patriot Raja Ram Mohan Roy. On this day in 1833, the hero of the Indian Renaissance breathed his last. We will also remember Vithalbhai Patel, who was born on this day in 1873.
This day in the year 1833, great scholar, reformer, patriot, pioneer, visionary of interfaith harmony and the harbinger of the Indian Renaissance, Raja Ram Mohan Roy breathed his last.
Right from his childhood, he rebelled against superstitions and social customs. He wandered around the Himalayas and went to Tibet. He traveled widely, and the experience gave him a broad outlook. He advocated the study of English, science, Western medicine, and technology.
In 1814, Ram Mohan Roy formed the Atmiya Sabha to initiate social and religious reforms in the society. He campaigned for women's rights, including the right for widows to remarry and the right for women to hold property. He also supported education of women.
In 1828, he founded the Brahmo Samaj, which was one of the first socio-religious reform organizations in the country. It was Raja Ram Mohan Roy who fought for the abolition of gruesome practice of sati, or burning of the widow, on the funeral pyre of the husband.
Ram Mohan Roy was given the title of Raja by the Mughal Emperor Akbar Shah II, who sent him to England to represent him. He went to England in 1833.
10 days after arriving in Bristol, Raja Ram Mohan Roy fell ill with meningitis, and the great social reformer breathed his last on 27th of September 1833.
On this day in 1873 was born Vitthal Bhai Patel, an acclaimed leader and a humanist. Vitthal Bhai Patel was the elder brother of Sardar Vallabh Bhai Patel and a renowned freedom fighter.
Born in Nadiad in Gujarat, Vitthal Bhai studied law in London. He became a leading attorney in the courts of Bombay and Ahmedabad.
Vitthal Bhai was instrumental in the passing of two bills in the Bombay Provincial Legislative Council, the Bombay District Municipal Act Amendment Bill and the Town Planning Bill in 1914. He was credited with the extension of primary education to municipal districts in the Bombay Presidency outside of the city of Bombay in 1917.
When Mahatma Gandhi called off the non-cooperation movement in 1922, following the Chauri Chaura incident, Patel left the Congress to form the Swaraj Party with Chittaranjan Das and Motilal Nehru.
He was the first elected president of the Central Legislative Assembly in the year 1925 and was re-elected in 1927. He succeeded in his efforts of creating a separate office for the Legislative Assembly, independent of the Government of India in 1928. It was Vitthal Bhai who established the Convention of Neutrality of the Speaker of the House in debates.
In his later years, Vitthal Bhai travelled in the United States and Europe. Patel's health worsened in Europe and he died in Geneva, Switzerland on 22nd of October 1933.
Piyush Goyal will inaugurate India Pavilion at Expo 2020 Dubai, which begins on the 1st of October. The Indian Pavilion at the Expo is expected to stand out, featuring kinetic facade that is made up of 600 individual colorful blocks. Over 190 countries from across the world are all prepped up to participate in the Expo, which would continue till the end of March next year. Here's a report.
With the theme of connecting minds, creating the future, Dubai is all set to host the World Expo 2020 from 1st October 2021 to 31st March 2022. It is a combination of past, present and future, and it brings people together from all over the world and inspires them. More than 190 countries are participating in the World Expo 2020. The Expo 2020, located between the cities of Dubai and Abu Dhabi, expands over massive 1,083 acres. The theme Connecting Minds, Creating the Future has 3 sub-themes: opportunity, mobility and sustainability. Under the sub-theme Opportunity, Indian Pavilion is marvelously displaying the emergence of New India to the world. We will see a glimpse of Mini India in the Indian Pavilion in World Expo 2020. It showcases the beautiful journey of India from yoga to space. All the Indian states are also ready to present their culture, cuisine, dance and other interesting areas. Let's have a look at the preparation in the Indian Pavilion before the start of the mega event. Openness, never-ending business opportunities, unprecedented growth, vibrant culture, ancient treasures, cutting-edge technology awaits you in the Indian Pavilion. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal will inaugurate the pavilion on 1st October. The expo is starting a day before the auspicious occasion of Gandhi Jayanti. Let's hear from our ambassador to UAE that how Indian Pavilion is justifying the theme of the expo.
यंग इंडिया के जो माइंड्स हैं, जैसे हम इनोवेशन पे फोकस करेंगे, स्टार्टअप्स पे, ये क्या क्या तरक्की कर रहे हैं. ऊपर से हम ये भी दिखाएंगे कि हमने स्पेस में डिफरेंट कटिंग एज टेक्नोलॉजीज में क्या क्या किया है, इन 75 सालों में हमने क्या अचीव किया है. तो इसको बिल्कुल दिखाएगा. और ये किसको हम दिखाएंगे? जो लोग आके देखेंगे, समझेंगे, इनके माइंड्स को कनेक्ट करके उनको पता लगेगा कि ये हमारी अचीवमेंट्स है, ये हमारे पोटेंशियल है. इंडिया पवेलियन जो है बिल्कुल अपॉर्चुनिटी के बगल में है, और अपॉर्चुनिटी ही अपॉर्चुनिटी है इंडिया में. तो इसी को हम दिखाना चाहेंगे. वो भी दिखाएंगे कि हमारे यहाँ मोबिलिटी कितनी बढ़ गई है, लोग कहाँ से कहाँ पहुँच रहे हैं और किस रफ्तार से हमारी जो इकोनॉमी है बढ़ती जा रही है.
Indian Pavilion will feature an innovative kinetic facade made up of 600 individual colorful blocks. It is developed as a mosaic of rotating panels which represents an India on the move. In the evening, the facade will turn into a mesmerizing light and sound show. The diversity of Indian culture, heritage and tradition will come alive on the facade and will dazzle the onlooker. Adjoining the imposing pavilion is the plaza, which uses Dholpur stone from Rajasthan and has a spinning wheel chakra mounted on the roof. The Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry will supervise the Indian Pavilion. Let's hear from the FICCI Secretary General Shri Dilip Chenoy about the main attractions of the Indian Pavilion.
मिनी भारत अगर आप देखें तो जो स्टेट्स के फ्लोर में है तो 26 हफ्ते हैं. 26 हफ्ते में हमारा ये है कि 19 से 20 स्टेट्स आएंगे, क्योंकि कई स्टेट्स 2 हफ्ते के लिए हैं, और जो 8 स्टेट्स वो इकट्ठा आ रहे हैं, नॉर्थ ईस्ट के स्टेट्स आ रहे हैं. तो सेकेंड फ्लोर में वो देखेंगे. जो अनेक स्कीम्स हैं गवर्नमेंट की, मेक इन इंडिया, स्टार्टअप इंडिया, स्टैंड अप इंडिया, स्किल इंडिया, जो है स्वच्छ भारत अभियान वगैरह, सारे के ऊपर एक तरीके से उनका भी इंफॉर्मेशन दिया गया है और काफ़ी इंटरैक्टिव है ये. तो पूरे पवेलियन में हम जो देश में अलग अलग कोने में, अलग अलग सेक्टर्स में जो भी कुछ अपॉर्चुनिटी है, जो ग्रोथ के अवसर हैं, जो ओपननेस है, उसको इस पवेलियन के द्वारा प्रोजेक्ट करने वाले हैं.
Expo Dubai is a tremendous opportunity for India and UAE to cement the already flourishing ties further. Can't wait to see the start of an exciting journey of 6 months of World Expo 2020. In the year of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, Indian Pavilion is showcasing the picture of New India. Fasten your seat belts for the mega event. We'll keep you updated. Keep watching DD India. Namaskar.
Well, they're showcasing Dubai Expo, India Pavilion showcasing India's rising march towards that 5 trillion economy, and a page or a chapter of a different India they're clearly being presented in that Dubai Expo.
Right. And in breakfast news now, it's time for the web news review. Let's find out what's trending on the World Wide Web.
Well, we've got Abhishek, our correspondent, standing by. Abhishek, over to you.
Thank you, Anil and Rukma, once again. The news that I'm bringing to you is the first from the Hindu, where in the last week there was meeting between Union Home Minister and various states where Naxal activities have been marked in recent years. The headline says Maoist influence down to just 41 districts. Tell Center, the miscreants have been pushed to a few pockets with only 25 districts accounting for 85% of the LW violence in the country, the ministry said in a statement. Chief Minister of Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, Telangana, Maharashtra and Odisha were present, while Chhattisgarh, West Bengal and Kerala were represented by Director General of Police and Chief Secretaries. Andhra Pradesh was represented by its Home Minister. The next news is from Hindustan Times, which has made headline of the German election, where it says German elections, Merkel's centre-right bloc sees worst results since 1949. So, with this election, there is going to be end of an era of German Chancellor Angela Merkel. She's been in the power since 2005, and with this latest election, not only she but her party has also lost the major chunk of the electorate, and which will see a new leadership, a new political party, new political ideology ruling the German, the most prosperous country currently in Europe and the most powerful country in Europe, Germany, in the days to come. So this was all from the web section review, and back to you, Rukma and Anil, for further news updates.
Well, that's pretty short and sweet. Thank you and appreciate you joining us this morning, giving us an insight, especially into the World Wide Web on the latest stories in and around India and the world. Thank you.
It's time now to take stock of what's happening around the world in our next segment, Across the Globe.
Well, international stories first up. In Germany, people appeared to vote for change on Sunday, with a majority of voting districts reporting the Social Democratic Party having a slim lead, hovering over 26%, more than a percent point ahead of Christian Democratic Union, which had just over 24% of the vote. Early exit polls show an extremely close race between the centre-left Social Democratic Party, the SDP, and the centre-right Christian Democratic Union, CDU, in an election that will decide the next chancellor of the country. Germans went to the polls to elect the next parliament, which will appoint Chancellor Angela Merkel's successor. After almost 16 years in the top job, Merkel decided to step down after the election. Candidates who are in the fray to replace Merkel are Armin Laschet, a long-time ally of Merkel and leader of the CDU since January, Olaf Scholz, leader of the left-leaning SDP, and the Greens' Annalena Baerbock. Environmental concerns and economic warriors have emerged as key issues in the election campaigning.
And time for some sports news next.
Well, star Indian tennis player Sonia Mirza won her first title of the season in the women's doubles final of the Ostrava Open on Sunday. Sonia and a Chinese partner Shu Zhang beat the pair of American New Zealand combined, Kathleen Christian and Erin Rockcliffe. The duo defeated the third-seeded pair 6-3, 6-2 in the summit clash in 1 hour and 4 minutes. This was Sonia's 43rd WTA doubles title.
And time for some weather news now in our weather update.
Well, that's all we have time for in this edition of Breakfast News. But remember that fight against COVID-19 continues. So if you haven't got yourself vaccinated, please go ahead and get yourself vaccinated. And when you go to get yourself vaccinated, please get your friends, your family, all around you, and get more and more people to get vaccinated. Remember, there is no trade-off. If you have got yourself vaccinated, you can't drop your guard in that fight against COVID-19, following those 3 simple COVID protocols of SMS, sanitizing yourself, masking yourself, and maintaining social distancing. So follow that. You and I need to see a better tomorrow.
Exactly, Anil. And well, viewers, as always, we leave you with some visuals at the end of Breakfast News, which we hope will make your day all that much better. Today, it's these glimpses of our Air Force's air show. The spectacular air show was held in Srinagar's famous Dal Lake. The star attraction of the event was the Air Force's Surya Kiran aerobatics team that performed a synchronized aerial ballet. So watch those visuals, have a great day. And these aerobatics were as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Enjoy. Bye-bye. Take care.
Namaskar.